All right, so you're ready to jump behind the bar, huh? Become like the king or queen of cocktails.
Yeah.
But it's not just about mixing a good drink, is it? You got to nail that interview.
Yeah.
And that's what we're diving into today, how to impress those hiring managers and score that sweet, sweet bartending gig.
And we've got the inside scoop RoleCatcher's Career Guide and their interview guide for bartenders. They're packed with advice, no mixers needed, just straight up.
It's your cheat sheet, basically.
Yeah.
But before we get shaken and stirred by all that, let's back up for a sec.
Yeah.
What does a bartender actually do?
Well, it's more than just, playing with those fancy bottles.
Right.
You're a drink expert, a customer service pro. And get this, you might even need to be a bit of a tech whiz.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, seriously. They've got these automated bartenders now.
No way.
Yeah. This career guide even talks about specific software they use. Pretty cool stuff.
So we're talking fast-paced, exciting, kind of what you're after, right?
Yeah.
But this guy doesn't sugarcoat it. Long hours, demanding customers,
Yeah.
that's all part of the gig.
Yeah, for sure. Got to be ready for anything. And that's where RoleCatcher's AI comes in. It analyzes those job descriptions, spots any gaps in your experience, and gives you feedback on your resume, like having a career coach in your back pocket.
That's awesome. Okay, so you've aced the resume, and boom, you've got the interview. Time to wow them. And a question they're going to ask, I guarantee it is, can you give me an example of a time you dealt with a difficult customer?
Uh-oh.
We've all been there.
We have.
So how do you answer that?
All right, so remember, they don't want to hear about a barroom brawl. It's not about the drama. What they want to see is how you handle pressure. The guide, it emphasizes staying calm, being understanding, and finding a solution. Use that STAR method situation, task, action, result. Basically tell it like a story.
I like it.
And the best stories, they have a happy ending.
Okay, so say you've got someone who's being super demanding, snapping their fingers, the whole 9 yards. How do you turn that around without, losing it?
All right, well, that's where this thing called active listening can be your secret weapon. The guide talks about it. It's not just saying, I get it. It's reflecting their feelings back. Like, hey, I see you're frustrated. Let's see what we can do. Show you're really tuned in.
That's smart. Now, they might even hit you with a follow-up. Something like, was there ever a time you couldn't satisfy a customer? What happened? How do you answer that without sounding like, well, a failure?
Honesty is key there, but also what you learned. Briefly share a time where, even though you tried your best, you couldn't meet their needs. But emphasize the lesson you took away from it.
Okay, I see.
Maybe you learned how important it is to set those expectations up front, or to ask your colleagues for help. It shows you're always learning and growing.
Makes sense. Okay, so we tackled the difficult customer beast. But bartending's not just about putting out fires, right? It's about creating a fun atmosphere.
Oh, absolutely.
And a lot of times, that's about those awesome cocktails. Which brings us to the question, what's your experience with creating cocktail recipes?
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to be Tom Cruise in cocktail or anything.
No.
But what are they getting at here?
Passion. It's your time to geek out a bit about drinks. Share your process, your favorite combos. Maybe you like to make your own syrups at home, or you've got this go-to drink that wows your friends every time. The guide mentions how with craft cocktails being so popular now, this has become a real skill.
So it's not just pouring, it's creating.
Exactly.
I like it.
And they might follow up with something like, okay, so imagine you had to create a new drink for our menu. What would it be? This is where you connect your creativity to their place. Did RoleCatcher's AI mention they're all about locally sourced ingredients?
Oh,
Work that in.
that's such a good point. It's like you've done your research, but in a cool cocktail way.
Exactly. It really shows you're paying attention, like you're already part of the team.
Totally. Okay, so speaking of being part of the team, let's talk about a scenario that really tests your judgment, right? Like when a customer has maybe enjoyed themselves a little too much.
Yes. How do you handle a situation where a customer has had too much to drink?
Classic.
Big one.
Yeah, I got to be careful with this one. It's all about keeping the good times rolling, but knowing when to, cut someone off, right?
Absolutely. And that's where the interview guide is super helpful. It reminds you, safety first, always. For the customer, for you, for everyone in the bar.
Okay, so it's not about having some magic answer. It's more about showing you take it seriously.
Right. Mention things like TIP PS certification if you've got it. Shows you're committed to, responsible service.
Good point.
Actually, the guide even lists some common signs of intoxication. Good stuff to review.
Oh, nice. So, okay, let's say I spot someone who's had one too many. What do I do? Just say, no more drinks for you.
You don't want to be aggressive about it.
Right, right.
The guide suggests offering water, maybe some food, saying something like, how about we pace ourselves a bit? It shows you care.
That's much better. Okay, what if they get, I don't know, argumentative, even after you tried being nice?
That's when you loop in the manager, no question. Or security, depending on the situation.
Right.
You're not a bouncer.
Right.
But you are supposed to prioritize safety. The interview guide, it actually has a whole section on de-escalation. Worth checking out.
Good to know. See, this guide is gold. Speaking of keeping things running smoothly, let's talk about keeping that bar stocked and humming.
Right.
Right. They're going to ask, how do you make sure the bar is stocked and ready for a busy shift?
For sure they will. This one's all about organization and thinking ahead. Remember RoleCatcher's AI we were talking about?
Yeah.
Say you're applying to a super busy sports bar.
Okay.
The AI might pick up on keywords in the job description, like speed, efficiency, things like that.
Ah, I see. So instead of just saying, like, I'd make sure there's enough beer, I could say, I'd focus on keeping the popular beers stocked and make sure the cooler's easy to get to for fast service.
See, now you're talking. You're showing them you understand their business, their needs, and don't forget the small stuff. Mention rotating stock so things don't go bad.
Oh, yeah, good point. Shows you're thinking about, like, saving them money, too, right?
Exactly. It's those little things, because bartending isn't just about making the drinks. It's about the whole operation running smoothly.
So true. And speaking of keeping things running smoothly, there's always the classic question, how do you juggle everything when it's crazy busy?
It's true, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're a one-person show sometimes.
Oh, tell me about it. It's like you're juggling, I don't know,
Flaming cocktails.
flaming cocktails.
Exactly.
Don't want to drop those.
No. So what's the secret? Systems. The guide talks about how important it is to have a system for prioritizing. Maybe you make the complicated drinks first, or group similar orders, things like that. Share your method, even if it's something as simple as, like, using different colored coasters to keep track of who ordered what.
Oh, I like that.
Visual cues, very helpful.
So you're showing them you don't just panic, you've got a plan.
Exactly. And this is a good place to mention any relevant experience. Did you work in a fast-paced restaurant before? Maybe a really busy coffee shop?
Oh, yeah, good point.
Even if it wasn't a bar, those skills transfer.
It's about highlighting those transferable skills.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about staying organized. What about when things go wrong? And I mean, like, really wrong.
You talking about the dreaded dine-in dash?
Oh, yeah. How do you handle a situation where a customer leaves without paying? Question. Big test of your character, I guess.
It is, and probably your memory.
Right? Was it the guy in the Hawaiian shirt or the lady with the giant purse? Okay, but seriously, what am I actually allowed to do in that situation?
That's the key, knowing your boundaries. The guide is very clear. Follow your establishment's rules. Whatever they say, goes.
So no chasing them down the street, trying to be a hero?
Definitely not. You tell the manager, give them any details you remember, and let them handle it.
Got it. Safety first. Okay, let's switch gears from potential disasters to, like, the bread and butter of the job, the money. How do you handle cash and make sure everything's accurate? Everyone gets a little nervous about this one, I think.
Oh, for sure. Nerves are understandable, but it's all about emphasizing your systems for accuracy. Do you count the change back carefully? Double check the totals on the register? Those little things show you're trustworthy, you're careful, and you take it seriously.
Right. It's their money after all. You're handling it with care.
Exactly. Got to protect yourself and the business. Okay, ready for another curveball? How about dealing with a rude customer? They might ask, what would you do if a customer was being disrespectful, either to you or someone else on staff?
Ooh, yeah. That's a tough one because you want to be fun, make people feel welcome,
Yeah.
but you also don't want to just, like, take it.
Exactly. And the interviewer, they're looking for that balance. How do you stand your ground, but also not escalate things? The guide talks about using those de-escalation techniques again, like active listening.
Right, so instead of snapping back with some witty comeback, I should try to see their side of things.
Right. And don't forget, RoleCatcher's AI can help you tailor your answer here, too. Let's say you're applying for a really fancy cocktail bar.
Okay.
The AI might pick up on keywords in the job description like discretion or clientele management. So, to emphasize a calmer, more, elegant approach.
Oh, that's smart. So acknowledge their frustration, but also make it clear that being rude is not okay.
Exactly. And if things get out of hand, management, security, they're there for a reason. Your safety comes first. Always.
Absolutely. Okay, let's shift gears from like conflict resolution to something a little more fun. How do you create that awesome experience for your customers? Make them want to come back again and again.
Ah, yes. Going above and beyond, this is probably going to come up in the interview. Like, how do you ensure customer satisfaction? How do you encourage people to become regulars? It's all about showing them your passion for hospitality. This is what you love.
Right, because it's not just making a good drink. It's about the whole vibe.
100%. Remember those little things we talked about? Remembering someone's usual, offering a taste of a new drink. Those things matter. They make people feel special.
Turn them into regulars.
Exactly. Share a specific example from your own experience. A time you went that extra mile. Maybe you helped someone celebrate a birthday or helped them discover their new favorite cocktail.
Ah, I love that.
Those stories make you stand out.
They really do. Okay, last question, and it might seem basic, but it's so important. How do you maintain a clean and organized bar area?
Ugh, music to my ears. This is where those organizational skills come into play. And the guide is very clear on this. A clean bar, it's not just about looking nice. It's about being efficient and safe.
Right, because tripping over a stray bottle or grabbing a dirty glass is not a good look.
Exactly. This is your time to shine as an organizational superstar. Talk about your system for keeping things spotless. Wiping down surfaces, managing the glassware, all of it, even during a rush.
Showing them you're on top of it.
Exactly. Every detail matters.
So there you have it, our deep dive into absolute crushing that bartending interview.
Cheers to that.
We've shaken, stirred, and poured out some seriously good advice, all thanks to RoleCatcher and their awesome career and interview guides.
Don't forget, practice makes perfect. Review those guides, practice those answers, and most importantly, bring your A game and that passion for the craft.
Because bartending, it's about making those connections, creating a fun atmosphere, and that starts right there in the interview. Until next time, cheers.
Cheers.